Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to get started on the Soundbox project. In this project we're going to make a little toy like this that just looks like a little box and it's got some buttons on it. And when you click on the buttons it just plays a sound effect. Nothing much to it. Although when we get into games we're going to want to play sound effects. So this will show you how you do it. Here is a Windows form application. Notice that I've changed the text property on the form application just so it doesn't say, Form 1 or something like that. And I've given my project a good name up here. When I created it, I called it Soundbox, not Windows Form Application 12, which I'll never be able to find when I go to grade it, right? So let's talk about how we can add some sound resources into our projects. Microsoft Visual Studio or Forms applications do not seem to play nicely with MP3s, so you're going to want your sound resources to be WAV files, and we have a tool called Audacity we can use. So if you have an MP3 and you need it to be a WAV, we can do that for you. Just let me know. So to add the resources, you want to go up to your project option here, project menu, and then go down to the properties. And this is just like importing images. Then you just go to your resources, and you can say add existing resource, right? So or add existing file. And we have some filters here. We can search for bitmaps, audio, so let's pick audio. And then I'm going to go out to where I have the sound resources for this particular project for you. They're in the T drive, C#, Soundbox, I think I'm in Documents, Teaching, C#, and then it should be Sound Effects or Soundbox or something like that. Sound Effects, let's go in there. Sounds. Alright, so let me grab the coin sound here, or I could just hit Control A and import all of them. There we go. So I hit Control A there, and boom, now I have all those wave sounds in my project. Alright, there we go. Now let's go back to our form. How many of them do we have there? We got a bunch. Alright, let's go to the code for our form. Now we can do that. If I double click on the form, it'll take me there. I can also right click on my form over here in the Explorer, and I can say View Code. I can go to it that way as well. Actually, if you boot up Visual Studio and you don't see anything here, just do that trick where you right click on your file and you can say View Code, View Designer, and then you'll get your project back. Alright, so here's our project. And we need to import a system library in order to use sound, and that's the media library. So we can say import, or using system.media. We have to do this in order to be able to access the sound player class, which is the thing that's going to wrap our sound resource. And let me go add a button onto my form here, and to do that I need the toolbox. Let me bring up the toolbox, and I'm going to drag a button over here, and I'm going to change its text property to say coin. There we go. And now I'll double click on it, and Visual Studio will create the function that gets called when that coin gets played. Now this is going to be a little weird here. I'm going to do this a bad way or a mediocre way, and then I'm going to explain why it's bad and then show you a better way to do it. So in this button click function I can create a sound player object, and I'll call it coin, and I'll set it equal to a new sound player. And now inside of here I want to specify the sound resource to wrap, or the sound resource that this thing is responsible for playing. And to do that you can just type properties dot resources and then the name of the sound effect, right? So that's all you need to do. So what we're doing is we are creating a variable, a sound player object called coin, and we're creating a new sound player object that is wrapping or contains or is responsible for playing this particular sound resource. Excuse me. So now to play that resource, all I have to do is just say coin.play. There we go. So coin.play will play this thing. It will not. Well, there won't be any. There shouldn't be any lag when you play it. It won't halt the program while it's playing. There's another option though called halt or coin.play sync. What's the difference between the two here? Sync will actually stop the program until the sound is done playing. Play will just play it concurrently in a different thread with the main program, so you won't notice any lag. There's times where if you want the action to stop, like in the slot machine project we're going to use play sync. Otherwise, we would just use play. So play is the one you normally want to use, but just be aware that there's two of them out there. All right, this should work, right? So when the button is created, create a sound player, and then play it. So let's run it and see if it works. And anyway, hopefully this will start up here. There we go. It looks like it's starting up. And any second. There we go. Here's our coin sound. Okay, so seems to work pretty well. Okay, now, how could we make this better though, or why is this not the best way to do this? Well, think about what's going on. Every time the button is clicked, we have to create this sound resource, and then we play it. And when this function quits, this resource, this coin variable, goes away. It gets reclaimed. The technical term is it goes out of scope. So any variables you declare inside a function only exist while that function is running. Now, if we want to play this sound 100 times, or maybe this was, let's just assume this was a really big file we wanted to play for some reason, do we really want to load it in every time? Do we want to recreate this object, play it, and then destroy it? Well, no, not really. That's not the most efficient way to do it. What we want to do is make this thing part of the class, and that way it'll only get created once. So if I cut this line right here, and I put it up here inside the class, now what happens is when this class is created, this object will be created, and then when I click the button, I'm just replaying the same sound object that was created the first time. So this way is much more efficient, because I'm not constantly creating resources that I've already created before. So that's what you want to do. You want to put your variables up here inside your class, rather than inside of your functions, right? So there you go. If you have any questions on how to get that to work, just ask.